Welcome, fellow Cryptonauts, to another episode on the Power Cosmic channel. Today we're going to be talking about Binance Smart Chain and how to onboard fiat, swap, buy, create a liquidity pair token, and stake it. This video is dedicated to all the new Telegram Cryptonauts. Welcome aboard. Hopefully it will answer all of your outstanding questions and will get you on your way to stake on Binance. Hello, fellow Cryptonauts. It's Power Cosmic, and I'm here today to do a video on how to quickly onboard to the Binance Smart Chain. So, on the boards, it's been discussed quite a bit how to best get on board to Binance Smart Chain, and one of the easiest ways is to use something called the SafePal wallet. So I was going to go through the SafePal wallet and determine what's the quickest way to get into the game. So here we go. So we already have the SafePal wallet installed. That should be fairly simple. Just go to your Google Play Store or go to your Apple phone and install SafePal. And once it's installed and you've created a wallet, we should just be able to open it up and should already have it set up. And then this is the tricky part. So now we've got to figure out how we're going to get some crypto in here. If you haven't gotten any crypto in the past, you have to do something called onboarding, which requires a fiat gateway. Fiat gateway means a method to buy crypto using money. That could either be through a bank, a debit card, credit card. This is typically the way you would do it. So here on SafePal, we do have this application called Simplex. So if you go to the dApps area here and you'll scroll around, it may not be the first one that pops up, but you can scroll and you'll find Simplex. So let's click on Simplex. When you go here, you can see that it's possible to buy crypto here. Okay, so it starts off with BTC minimum purchase, and it's in USD. So let's see if we want to get onto the Binance chain, we're actually going to want to buy BNB. So you select BNB, and here let's say we wanted to buy an amount smaller than 300. So we're going to, let's say, try 150. When we try to enter 150, we see we're met with this minimum is $200 USD or equivalent. So that's a little bit of a problem because reading on the Simplex website, it shows that there's a KYC requirement if you go above $150 minimum. So that means Simplex on the wallet here is probably not going to work for us. So I'm going to try to buy some of the Binance on the website, Simplex website, directly to see if we can actually get under that $150 minimum. So here we are on the Simplex website, and we're going to buy the crypto here so that we can try to get under that minimum requirement to avoid the KYC requirement. So you can see there's a banking option, buying the crypto, sell the crypto, a few other bits and details, and we're interested in buying. So we're going to click buy, and then we go there now. That brings us to the ChainBits site, and here you can see that we can select a particular crypto we're interested in buying and the US dollar amount. So if we click on the cryptos, we see that actually they have multiple different types of crypto that we can look at buying. So this is nice because we can buy some Ethereum, we can buy some BTC, Litecoin, Terra, etc. Because we want to get onto the Binance chain, we're going to buy some BNB. So one thing to note here is we have to realize that there's multiple versions of BNB. The one that we will be buying here looks like the BEP2 version. So the BEP2 version is the original Binance chain, and the BEP Smart Chain, BEP20, is the one that we'll eventually want to get to, but here this is the only one they have available, so we can go ahead and buy this and send it to our SafePal wallet. To do that, we'll need to get our SafePal wallet Binance coin address. So to make sure we do that, we should have a copy of that address handy to paste it in. And also note that the BNB BEP2 token addresses always start with the BNB letters, prefix. So here we're going to try to get under that, or maximum, and you can see there that you have to at least buy 50, but we just want to get close to that maximum possible, and we're going to go ahead and buy 148. So that'll give us about half a Binance. Continue. So here we got to enter our card details. So I'll do that. So they are going to send you an email verification code. So we got to get that verification code, copy it. Continue. And let's see where we go. Let's see if this thing gets accepted. Please use another. Card cannot be accepted. Okay, so it looks like the transaction is now going through. So I tried using my credit card first, and it wasn't happy with the credit card. So I ended up using debit card, and that looks to have gone through just fine. So now we're going to check to see if it actually made it to our wallet. So here we are in the SafePal wallet, and we've completed our purchase transaction. We did run into an oddity where the transaction, apparently price had changed, so they had sent an email and asked to have that particular transaction approved for a new rate. You know, this kind of thing can happen because price of crypto can jump around quite a bit or quickly. So just be aware that you may actually get an email that's asking you to change the price that you originally decided to buy for. So here we're just waiting for the BNB to show up. It hasn't shown up yet. It's been a few minutes, so I'm just going to wait and hopefully it will appear. So here we are. We have finally gotten our BNB. It's been deposited in the wallet, and it looks like it's $119 worth. So we did lose a little bit there in the transaction as it came over. The price differential, price fluctuation. So, and also there's some fees included in this. So anyway, we have our BNB, and now we want to try and use this on the Smart Chain. So as we can see, the two BNBs are close to each other. You can see the BEP2, which we just bought from the Simplex system, and right below is the BEP20, which is the one that we're going to need to go to the Smart Chain. So how do we do that? Well, we can do this by going to the swap, and right here in the swap we can select our BNB, BEP2, and then we can then convert that to some BEP20. There it is. So what you gotta realize is that we're gonna need to have this BNB available in order to purchase and move things around in the wallet. So in other words, you don't want to spend it all at once or the entire amount, because you still need to leave some behind in order to make transactions. So in this case though, we can max it, as long as we can have, we'll need to reduce this just by a little bit so we have enough for the fees. Fees are typically right around 50 cents or so. It just fluctuates some. Sometimes it could be quite a bit less or a little bit more, but typically I haven't seen them above $1 yet. So let's see what we can do here. So we'll just move over 47. Go next. And here we see an estimation of a 9-cent network fee with 3% slippage. Slippage here, I think we'd like to try to reduce that to 1%. Hopefully we can get that. Slippage sometimes varies depending on how much liquidity there is for a particular token. That means if it's a more available token, there should be a possibility for lower slippage. If it's a token that is highly, low, not very, if a token doesn't have much availability, then you have to increase the slip in order to be able to make that transaction go through. There are some special cases where some tokens require additional fees in order for the transactions to go through, and in those cases sometimes they will allow you to manage that by increasing the slippage to 2.5 to 3%. So let's see if 1% will work. Says exchange temporarily unavailable. Try again. Oh my God. Okay, so running into a little bit of trouble here. Let's see if they'll let us do it on the Pancake swap just for fun. So we'll go to the dApps and go to the Pancake DAX. So this is another place where you can do the transactions, but we got to make sure that BNB is even allowed. So here you can see Pancake Swap specifically deals in the BEP20 token, so it's not something that we can necessarily use in this case. And also note that this application doesn't seem to be responsive. This happens sometimes, and sometimes it's just a matter of quitting and getting back in. Try that again. So let's see here. Here this time it allows me to pick the different tokens. Still having a little bit of trouble. Okay, after some time it looks like the trade should be possible now. Not exactly sure what was going on. Must be some system issues. So we'll try to do the swap again. So we're going from the BNB BP2 to BNB BP20. And we need that, of course, so that we can get on the Smart Chain. So we want to leave a little bit of dust just in case we need to make a transaction back. So we'll do 47. It will be prompted for your password. Okay, there we go. The transaction is done. It looks like there's a little bit of time to go here. So I guess we will come back when this is done. Okay, so we're back and the transaction is now complete. So we can see that we still have a little bit of dust here in the BP2, and we've got our BNB BEP20 now. So you can actually look at the transaction if you'd like to. You're just going to click on here. You can see where the receive or the send transaction came. And there's the details on that particular transaction. And you can see how long it took to complete. So, these transactions aren't always instantaneous. It depends on the gas. It depends on network congestion, etc. The good news here is you can see that the cost other transactions relatively cheap. So now moving on, and this is what a lot of folks have been wanting to understand. So we've taken the first step. We purchased the crypto. Then we sent the crypto into the SafePal wallet. Then we converted the crypto from BEP2 to BEP20. And now we're going to go and stake it somewhere. So we just go here to the dApps. And here we can see the common dApps that are available on Binance. So we've got some of our DeFi plays here, and here's the BSC chain specific. And the one that we're probably interested in here is the AutoFarm. So you click on the AutoFarm. And when you're within the SafePal wallet, and you're running the dApps, it should be easy to connect. It should just readily connect if you hit that connect button. So let's see that. And there it is. You can see the address is connected. So now we know we have our BNB, and we just got to see what's available for staking. So it looks like, yeah, just be aware that this SafePal wallet, for one reason or another, seems to be a little bit buggy. And what I mean by that is, for some reason, when we go to some of these dApps, the applications freeze and can't move. So what I'll do is I'll just exit. Then I'll come back in. Hopefully that should address the issue. Here we're back in, and there it is. It's now scrolling, so we can see all the different pairs here. And some of them are single coin staking. And you can see the percentages, and you can see the daily versus the yearly. And so we've got some BNB. So here, let's see, what can we do? So we've got a number of different coins here. We've got Reef has a pretty good return on it. That particular Reef coin is an ERC20. So we would have to buy that if we wanted to do a liquidity pair with it. Then what else do we have? I typically like to stake Cake here. Cake has been doing pretty well in general. But I wanted to see if I could do an ERC20. But to do that, I'll have to buy something. So maybe Reef would be a good choice here. So let's see, it's at 500%. We've got Helmet here at 900. BTCST is at 1.9K. This is kind of an interesting coin. It happens to be a mining coin where you own part of a miner if you buy that coin. Did the math and was not too excited about this particular coin, so I guess we will skip on that. Let's go back to our swap pool. And now we are going to start with BEP20. And this will be interesting to see because you see we have our dust here on the BEP2, 0048, and then we have our BNB BEP20, and that's 46.8. Let's see what happens here. So let's do, say, a swap from 20, and then let's say we were to get some Reef. Can we do that? Well, as you see, only the particular coins that you're able to swap will be available. So in this particular case, Reef is not available. So this is where you gotta kind of be a little careful because you see Some of these coins have multiple variations. We've got BAT here an ERC20, BEP20, BEP2. So we got to find the right version of the coin that we're looking for. So maybe band. Band is a good option. We can look at trying to do the band. Let's go check on auto again, see what kind of return that's providing. Look at this TVL, it's incredible. This was less than $1 billion earlier in the week, and we're already up to 1.4. That's really high. So let's see if we have band protocol in here. Alpha Homora is looking pretty good at 836. Maybe we'll go with some alpha. And that is giving you 0.08x on the auto that it provides. Let's see what Cake was given. Cake is giving 2, which is pretty nice. Looks like we're going to try going with alpha. So let's go back and let's do a swap. So should have probably just tried to swap straight into WBNB, but I didn't realize that I needed WBNB, so guess we'll just have to go back and do that. Go to swap. So now we have our BNB BEP20. Now we're going to want to look for WBNB. Okay, so maybe not here. We can always try Pancake. Once we have the ERC20, now we can get onto the Smart Chain. We can just use the DApp. So we go to Pancake Swap. Now we've got, you see our balance already shows up. Select that WBNB. Oh, come on, guys. Okay, so we're resuming our session here to take a look at how we can do a swap on Pancake or on the Binance Smart Chain in order to stake some tokens in the AutoFarm system. And now I'm at the point where I'd like to get some alpha. Alpha's been a project that has been hit with a little bit of trouble here recently. So I think it might be a reasonable entry point. So what I want to do is I want to take some of my BNB here and I want to convert it into alpha. I have to be careful because it has to be a 50-50 balance, and I don't really have a lot of BNB to work with here. Got to make sure I have enough left over for my gas fees, so remember that. You got to have some BNB left over for the gas fees, and each of these transactions require a little bit of gas. Usually it's going to be somewhere less than $1. It could be anywhere as little as 8 cents, as much as I've seen as high as 80, but it's typically going to be somewhere in between that, at least for now. BNB has constantly onboarding new users, so just like things happened on the Ethereum network and gas fees went high, I'm expecting gas fees to go higher, but hopefully we'll be able to keep those within a reasonable range. But for now, this should be in the sub-dollar area. So what I gotta do, I gotta make sure I get just enough here so that I don't eat up all of my BNB for the gas, but have used enough that I can stake what I would like. I mean, technically you can stake as little as you want, I believe. So I just want to make sure I maximize my BNB usage here on this particular account, since this is I'm using this for a demonstration and this is a brand new account, right? So let's see. So here you can see, this is kind of interesting. We need the WBNB to stake on AutoFarm as opposed to the typical BNB, and you can either buy WBNB on the open market. In our particular case, based upon our entry, I didn't see an option to buy WBNB. It might be there. You could always double check, but in this particular case, we went from BEP2 to BEP20, which is our Binance Smart Chain BNB, and now we're going to wrap it. So here we get to see what wrapping looks like. I can hit the wrap button, and there is our transaction, and it's going to have some gas fees. And something that's kind of interesting is they show these gas fees in GUI, which is essentially the currency of Ethereum, but these subunits actually mean something else. I'm not exactly sure what the BNB subunits are. I probably should do some research to figure that out, make sure I know what they are. But nonetheless, here it is. So let's OK that. Got to enter your password. Confirm it. And then we hit, see, maybe it should already be wrapping it. Sometimes it'll want you to hit the signature and then you hit the button again. So let's take a look. Usually there will be a confirmation, so we want to wait and see how that works out. Way we can double check is we can go back to our wallet, and when we're in our wallet we will go to our BNB that we are working with, which is this one, the BEP20. Click on that, and there should be the Explorer here, and you can see the receive and send transactions here. So we're technically on the send scenario, right? So here it shows our previous receive when we originally did the work to convert to BEP20 from BEP2. So you click on there, you can see that transaction detail. So let's go back and let's see if there's any other information going on here. So I'm not saying anything, but at the same time you guys have to remember that sometimes these things don't refresh the way you would expect. So sometimes you got to hit that refresh button. So let's see here. Let's hit the receive to see if we have any information there. This is our receive screen that, you can use this QR code, or which you can then scan, and it'll directly translate it into your address down here. So if you have a phone and you have a camera, this is a really nice handy way to enter transactions instead of trying to type this crazy thing out. The other option, of course, is to hit the copy button, because you're going to want to get the exact value for your address. If it's off even by a digit, you might be sending a lucky person some free money. So be sure that this is exactly correct. Remember from our basics video that once you hit a transaction, that's it. It's going to go through and there's no going back. So we go to Pancake swap. Hit refresh here. There's a little button up here that shows you fresh options. Okay, it's already coming back, so cancel that. And it looks like my transaction went through. You can see here by the amount of BNB I've got left. So let's go back to the wallet and check that out. Close this out. Wallet. And let's see what we got here. Sometimes this thing doesn't refresh exactly, so what we can do is check here. Sometimes you have to add your coins. Not all the coins are visible by default. You're just going to see the ones that they want you to see as far as their premier favorite coins. Everybody loves BTC and ETH, so we got those. We got our BNBs, and then of course we got our SafePal specific wallet token. So let's go to add. And here you'll see the different options. So we've got added the BEP2, BEP20, and now we're going to be looking for the BEPW. Let's see if we can find that. Or the WBEP. Okay, here. So this is interesting. So when you add a custom token, you've got to know the contract address, right? So that means that there's a particular contract is associated with each of the coins, the actual coins. So sometimes you can even have duplicate coins that look the same, have the same ticker, but their contract addresses will be unique. So you want to make sure you're getting the right contract address. There's a couple different ways of doing that. If you go here to the coin management, let's go here, WBEP. So here, look, you're seeing my amount has refreshed now. So just note that there's always a little bit of a lag. Here we can see all the transactions, a little bit of a network fee here for the work that we did to wrap the token or part of the token. Shows from, to, etc. All the details that you need to know. So here we've got BSC scan. This is equivalent to the Ether scan, and it's a very useful tool. You can learn quite a bit of things here. This is basically all of the information used to make it possible to transact all of these coins. Basically, you've got all of your what they call metadata, which tells you the system what token you're using, which particular token group it belongs to, which transaction hash was used, the addresses associated with that token, and any other information necessary to identify it. So here we've got it. This transaction has not been included. Okay, so what this basically is telling us is there may be some time before the transaction actually shows up. So that means that some of the transactions that we're seeing as far as reflecting the balances and all these kind of things are actually showing up before they are completed or recorded in the system. So this is actually pretty interesting stuff. But for now, what we're doing is we're looking for WBNB. So let's see if we can do that. Their tokens. So here, BSC chain, you can look for these different types of tokens. And let's see here. These are the most popular tokens, and you can see what's going on here. So we got wrap BNB right here. So one of the most popular tokens, and of course probably because it's one of the tokens required for pairing. And you also have Binance Peg, which is one of the popular tokens for actually on-ramping. So you can actually take your Ethereum and then you can convert that to Binance Peg and to then get onto the Smart Chain. So that's pretty popular. So there you got the price. Here you got the current price. So we know, wow, BNB is really on the move here. We like to see that. I know that's why a lot of folks there, my cryptonauts, are very excited. Because look at this. Look at the price action on this thing. Makes me wonder if I should even buy any alpha to do this transaction. But you know what? I got to do this so we can do this demo and everybody else can get on board the train. So here we go. We've got the contract address. This is what we're looking for. So we want to copy that. Okay, now we can get out of BscScan. Get back to our wallet. Here we are back at SafePal. So when you do click on the Explorer, it will launch another browser, and you will want to close that particular browser instance or page in order to get back to your SafePal wallet. So let's go. So here we go. Here are the BNB wrapped. Here we got it received. We actually earned a little bit of money just by having bought that one, fractional bit of BNB. So we're on our way already. So let's go back. So now we see that, okay, we still don't have our WBNB. So remember, we copied the contract address. Now we need to add the token. It's not one of the pre-listed ones, so you got to scroll up to get to the bottom to find the one that we are wanting to add. So it's going to have some of the more common ones there available for us, so we can actually pick one of those. There's our favorite Doge, very popular token. XRP, probably 2 token names you heard on your way to becoming a crypto nut. And here we go, we're going to add a custom token. So I'm going to paste in that contract address that we got. And sometimes it'll just automatically populate this stuff for us. So let's see what's going to do. Now we got to know. See, I haven't quite done it this way before, so I want to make sure I get the right decimals. That's basically telling you how small this thing can be, right? Yeah, I think this particular message here might be a little bit misleading. This is probably with reference to BscScan. I think it's just kind of telling you it's searching for this thing. We actually saw this earlier, so I know it's already there. So that's actually another thing to point out, is that sometimes our little messages aren't very accurate. While we wait, I can just see, oh, there we go. So I just typed it in and looked out a little bit here. Sometimes you're able to just enter the name and it will find it. Let's go there. Here we go, details on the wrapped. So you got to realize when there's these different variations of the same token, it's really the same token. The only real difference is what you use to identify that token. So the wrapper, think of the wrapper as an envelope. The envelope has an address on there to tell you where this thing is supposed to go. It can also have the information about what exactly is inside, and it has the information translated in the language that that particular blockchain understands. So that's really what you're doing here. So this is like the blockchain messaging protocol or information that helps it understand what exactly it's looking at. So you can actually put these things inside of this kind of envelope, this metaphorical envelope, so you can then translate or move around those assets on these different blockchains. So here we got our contract. So here's what we were looking for, the decimals, 18. Okay. So we want to copy this again since I lost a copy. Let's get back to our ad. You also got to realize Binance Smart Chain is still a somewhat young system, so there's going to be a couple things that are not going to be exactly the way you would expect them to be on Ethereum if you have experience with Ethereum. And but they're working through it, and they also benefit from the experience of Ethereum. But they do end up having to address a couple issues here and there. So did we add this custom token? Let's see here. There it is. I got our WBNB now. Let's go back to coin management. Let's see if it shows up. So we have our BNB BEP20. The balance, we know that we bought some WBNB, so it should show up here. There might be a technical issue with finding that on the blockchain, so realize that those issues might exist. Could also just be a delay, but typically it shows up pretty quick, so I'm a little surprised there that hasn't happened. But another way we can know that we have something, because even if you don't see it, that doesn't mean it's not in your wallet. Okay, so the way you can figure that out, you go to an app that uses that kind of money. The wallet can communicate to the interface, and it will be there. So let's try and do that. I'm going to go to dApps. I'm going to go to Pancake Swap. Here we are. So let's see if we can find it here. I mean, I'm pretty sure WBNB is in here. So we're going to see, there it is. There's our 0.225. So we know we do have it. So we got our wallet connected. A balance is only going to show you it here if you have something in your wallet that associates to that particular thing. And you know, those are some of the little gaps that cause so many people's headaches, wanting them to pull out their hair. So now we need to get our alpha. So we're going to go back to the BNB. And we're going to get some of this alpha token here. So sometimes you'll see me do these things where I'm exiting, getting back in. Just realize that, as we talked before, that has to do with some of the little defects in the code or the wallet. It can be, you know, it could be any number of places that some of these issues are occurring. But you know, I'm sure they will be resolved. So here we go. We got 24. How much can we send over there? I hit the max button. That tells me about 42. So, but remember, we still want to keep some dust in here. So we got to make sure we don't go too high. So here we got 23. So I'm going to do, going to reduce this. Make sure we have enough. Nothing more frustrating than figuring out you're short and then trying to figure out how am I going to get up my wallet with just a few cents to make things happen. Alright, so that's going to give us some alpha, and you can see that this alpha here, you know, we're going to find out what version of alpha that. Okay, here we see the price. Hit the old swap button. Confirm. Okay. Confirm. Close. So we saw this balance here. You see it's down. So look, there goes our balance of alpha, came up, so we got some alpha. That's what we like. Okay, so now the next thing we gotta do. If we want to stake this in AutoFarm, we have to do a pair, right? So the first step was to convert the tokens to the necessary tokens. Make sure you have a 50-50 split or whatever split that particular farming situation needs. Most of these are going to be 50-50. In the future, there may be ones that have different splits. Usually they'll tell you about that kind of a thing. So now we need to get the liquidity pair, because that's essentially what you're going to be staking is the liquidity token. So let's go back here. On Pancake, this is something you can do on Pancake itself. Yes, as long as you know the steps that you're trying to do, it's easy to just repeat them. Alright, here we go. Now we got to approve these things. In order to get in there, you got to approve them. And there's small little fees associated with this. So this is kind of why Ethereum was really suffering, is all of the fees. We got lots of fees that we got to deal with. And, you know, when these gas fees are big, that's really expensive. I mean, I was spending for each one of these little movements $20 some odd on Ethereum network, but here we're talking cents. So now we've got our liquidity. It's in the process of approving. Because what it's really doing is it's when we hit the supply button, at that point it's going to combine those tokens in that particular ratio, 50-50, 1-to-1, and it will then give us in return this liquidity pool token. And the number of liquidity pool tokens are usually very small because they represent the percentage of the pool that we own at that point in time. So that should be this number here. So we hit the supply button. Okay, this is telling us how much liquidity tokens we're going to get. You have to confirm once again. So that's already 3 transactions just to get into the liquidity pool, and realize that you'll have to do the same getting out. So that's actually something people need to think about, because if for some reason you decide I really want to sell my tokens and you're in a hurry to get that done, if you're in a liquidity pool, there's going to be a number of steps, and hopefully the workflow will be smooth and you can do that all at the same time. But realize that that might be an issue. Let's go back to AutoFarm. Okay, let's now get to our liquidity pair that we're interested in. Get some of that alpha. There we can see it, what we got available, so we're on the right track. So now we want to max that out. And we want to deposit. Got to do yet another transaction so you can see how the transactions stack up. Trying to do this on Ethereum is very expensive, and basically the point where whatever rewards you were going to earn get eaten up by gas fees, at least for the near foreseeable time. So depending on what the return is, APY, that's just not a winning proposition. So look at that, we got it done. All right. So now at some point in time in the future we'll have an option to harvest, and that's where we collect our earnings, and this can be done pretty frequently. You know, I tend not to harvest immediately because every harvest requires a transaction fee. It just depends on how much you're willing to spend on your transaction fees. But there we go, we've got some in there now. So it went from available to actually in there. So now we are officially harvesting WBNB/alpha. I should say we're officially providing liquidity via AutoFarm. So that takes us to the end of this particular tutorial. I will go and provide some additional details on this. If you can, I would appreciate any donations you guys can provide to this BNB wallet directly, and then maybe I can use those funds in the future for some additional demonstrations. And thank you for your time. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you in the next one. I hope you all the best of luck with your crypto investments. Thank you.